final round of the 2018 season sees the grids head over to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix, and we've got a lot of news to cover, so let's get straight into it. First of all, the entire drug saga just doesn't go away. The drug test centre saga that started at the very start of the season and even the start of last season, it's just carrying on all the way. And we have more developments on this story. And that is that 7 people have been arrested in regards to this drug centre attacks. Now, putting it all long story into short, there has been a gun attack on the sporting test drug centre in which multiple sporting stars go to obviously take their regular drug tests. 7 people, it seems, have gone into the drugs test centre with armed weapons to try and mix up all of these samples and basically cause loads of mayhem for sporting stars around the world. We'll find out more probably heading into next season on what is happening with this entire saga and how it is developing. Fernando Alonso has signed a shocking contract deal with Red Bull for next season. Of course, Fernando Alonso stated that he would be leaving McLaren at the end of the season, but I don't think anyone saw this one coming. Of course, Red Bull are now pretty much just their own solo team. They have no more driver programs and they've got no more sister team, e.g. Toro Rosso, for young drivers to move up into Red Bull. They scrapped all that as they're now forming a bigger and stronger partnership with Aston Martin. So Fernando Alonso said, well, this is a great time to go to Red Bull. Red Bull have promised good things for next season, and he's excited to go there. So it's going to be pretty shocking seeing Fernando Alonso in a Red Bull car for next season. And keeping on with Red Bull and the Toro Rosso theme, Nico Carey and Brendan Hartley are furious with Red Bull after not knowing what's been happening throughout this entire season. Of course, Red Bull stated that there'll be no more driver programs, no more junior teams, and they'll be sticking with just Red Bull and building a bigger and better partnership with Aston Martin. And of course, they never told anyone in Toro Rosso about this, and Toro Rosso are looking to sue Red Bull, and we're talking Toro Rosso team members, because obviously if you think about it, Toro Rosso suing Red Bull, it'd be, you know, I can't even remember his name now, it will come to me, Helmut Marko suing Helmut Marko, but of course you can't do that, because he'll just fight himself. That'd be kind of weird. But yeah, anyway, putting that aside, obviously they didn't know what was happening. It's gone completely out of the window now, and obviously even the drivers didn't know about it, so now they're trying to fight for their careers, and it doesn't look good for them. And finally, something that was a bit unexpected actually, former F1 driver Pastor Maldonado has apparently been charged with sexual assault. We don't really know a lot about this, where this has just come from, but yeah, sources have told us this morning that Pastor Maldonado has indeed been charged with sexual assault. So yeah, we believe this is only just an initial charge. We believe there is an entire investigation going on. We believe there's up to 5 females that were involved in this assault. So probably come pre-season, we'll know a lot more about this, but we only know at the moment there's been a charge. We've not got any information, as there is now a full investigation going on into this entire situation. So when we get more on that, we'll let you know. But Pastor Maldonado was looking to potentially return to Formula 1 in the future, but this sexual assault charge has dealt him a heavy blow. And into the news world of Formula 1 heading into this Formula 1 weekend. Let's have a look then at the news heading out of practice here at Belgium. It is quite clearly showing that the grid is looking extremely close in Belgium. There doesn't seem to be much separating all of the teams really. With a lot of teams thinking about going for the 1-stop and those going for the 2-stop, it looks like that we're going to see a lot of mixing up within the grid for this Belgian Grand Prix. Overall then, Audi are looking fast here at the Belgian Grand Prix, but it appears that their setup and their developments have gone the wrong way. Audi seem to be extremely fast in the first and final sectors, which is promoting them to be able to be fast to get those overtakes done. But that's costing them heavily in the middle sector, as they're over half a second down, in fact up to 6/10 down in the middle sector, and that's overall losing them overall lap time. But they just can't seem to find that balance between the straight line speed and also the downforce, which is pretty poor for them. Force India also, even though this is the last round of the season, are bringing updates to beat Renault. They are very close together. I believe it's about a point, maybe 2 points between the two teams, and Force India are desperate to beat Renault this season and think will be a massive bonus if they can do so. They've had a struggling season and they are just ready to give it absolutely everything, and they have brought updates. Let's see if they can beat Renault. So let's go to the Belgium Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on guys, it is FoxyDude98 here, and welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are here for round 12 of the F1 journey. This is the finale of season 1 of the F1 journey here at the Belgian Grand Prix, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And yeah, moving into qualifying. But anyway, into qualifying, you can see here that we set a decent lap. It was kind of okay. But as you can see, we actually lost a bit of our front wing in the pits. And this is a stupid thing with Belgium. It's happened for so long. Basically, if you run pit assist like I do, what happens is sometimes when you turn to go into the pits, it sort of straightens up your car and then turns it, and you lose a bit of your front wing end plate. It happens all the time. But the most frustrating thing for me was that I actually lost a bit of my front wing end plate, but the team never actually went ahead and fixed it. So you can see on the front right, I've not got my front right end plate there. So overall, the downforce was just really, really poor. I couldn't extract everything I wanted out of the car, and overall, I ended up starting in a very, very disappointing P10. And I just gave it absolutely everything, and unfortunately I only improved my lap time by a couple of hundredths of a second, but at the end of the day I think it might have just kept me in front of Esteban Ocon. I'm not really sure. I think it was about 3/100ths up, so probably not actually, but I would have stayed in front of Ocon anyway. But you know, I wanted to try and go further up the grid, but obviously I'm out of position here for this Grand Prix. Maybe if I started 11th, it may have helped because I could have gone into a different strategy. But anyway, having a look at the strategy then for the Belgian Grand Prix, it's going to be a 2-stop race for us, and I completely forgot. I honestly wanted to do the 1-stop here at Belgium. If you guys do 50% races at Belgium, I highly recommend doing the 1-stop and avoiding the ultra soft tyres. It's a big thing to do. Unfortunately, I completely forgot about it at the time. And yeah, I was too busy concentrating on trying to get pole position that I forgot about that. So we're going to have to do the 2-stop. We're here on the grid now. We've got 5 red lights here for the finale, and it is lights out where we go here to start this Belgian Grand Prix. And as you can see, we go straight to attack Fernando Alonso, but we want to get that inside line in towards last source, and we do that late braking move here down the inside of Alonso, Hulkenberg, Ocon, and also one of the Red Bulls there as well. So a flying start already, and now onto the back of Daniel Ricciardo. So we're getting very, very fast here, and we're going to go for the outside line move into a Rouge. Can we do a Mark Webber-esque style? Probably not, because Webber actually got the overtake done there, so Webber's overtake was better, but I'm still going to call myself a bit of bravery there. And as you can see, Hamilton blasting off into the distance, but we've got the slipstream now down the Kemmel Straight. Verstappen alongside Vettel as well, one of the Red Bulls there as well, but I don't care. I'll go down the inside of everyone into Lecom, and from 10th on the grid, we are already up into 2nd place. The back end steps out into Lecom, it steps out again on the exit, and now coming down in towards this long right-hander from 10th on the grid, making an inside line move down into La Source, getting the slipstream on the Kemmel Straight, going down the inside into Lecom. We are up into 2nd place in this Grand Prix, and on to lap 2 of the Grand Prix now. It appears that Pierre Gasly is under some pressure here now. He's got one of the Ferraris, he's got both Ferraris, actually Vettel, who's racing for the last time in a Ferrari car, because he's moving to a different team next season. As he goes down the inside of Lecom on Pierre Gasly, he gets that move done, but actually Gasly's going to hold on to this one here, so a fight between Vettel and Pierre Gasly, and Gasly holds on in the Red Bull. Fair play, Pierre Gasly not backing down here from Sebastian Vettel, and on to lap 3 of the Grand Prix now. This time it should be slightly easier for Sebastian Vettel because he's going to have that DRS, which is going to be critical, but once again Gasly defends that inside line into Lecom to start with, so he started to figure out a pattern here of how to fend off Sebastian Vettel. And as we go through Lecom now, you can see Sebastian there trying his hardest, but once again Gasly holding on for dear life, and once again Pierre Gasly doing a great job there, fending off the Ferraris, keeping that track position and doing a great job of it. Now on to lap 4 of the Grand Prix now. Sebastian Vettel is under pressure from Max Verstappen. Of course, Verstappen was held up a lot by Vettel in the Japanese Grand Prix, and he claims that cost him the World Championship. But as you can see, here comes Max Verstappen in towards Eau Rouge. He's not going to go around the outside of Eau Rouge on Vettel. He does. Brilliant overtake there from Max Verstappen. Very awesome stuff there from the Dutchman, and now he can go after Pierre Gasly and see what he can do about it. But Vettel now has been caught flustered a little bit by Pierre Gasly, by Vettel, sorry, I can't even say names right, by Verstappen, and he's actually now under pressure from Ricciardo. Ricciardo loses a bit of his front wing end plate there, trying to attack Vettel, but luckily for Ricciardo, it doesn't matter, and Vettel under pressure here, so Vettel might actually have some sort of a car issue here, because he seems to be struggling, but later on in that lap, so Sebastian Vettel took a long time to not even get past Pierre Gasly. This is Max Verstappen's first attempt of getting past Pierre Gasly in towards Blanchimont, job done, moving on, and he's on his way. So yeah, so Vettel couldn't get past Gasly to save his life. Verstappen has one opportunity to get past, does it straight away, and as this is on lap 4 of the Grand Prix, skipping a little bit further in front, e.g. moving the camera angle forward a plus, you can see that I'm in the pits. So I've had a very quiet first stint, just been banging out as many quick lap times as I can on these ultra soft tyres. Of course, again, I didn't really want to use the ultra soft tyres, but of course I did because of the qualifying, and I was a bit silly and forgot about that. But I'll learn that for next time around. But we're coming in for a set of super soft tyres now, which we're going to be taking a decent distance into the Grand Prix, then going on to another set of super soft tyres come the end of the race, and we're going to rejoin just behind one of the BMWs. I think that is Valtteri Bottas. BMW did bring updates earlier in the season. They haven't brought many though, but Lewis Hamilton meanwhile has also come out of the pits here, but he's now attacking Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren, and obviously you can see he comes flying through now. Here comes Lewis Hamilton attacking Stoffel Van Dorn in towards Lecon. This should be a very simple move for the Mercedes driver, and as you can see he makes his way through, and Hamilton pretty much dominating the Belgian Grand Prix at the moment. I don't know if anyone is going to stop him. I'm trying my hardest, but I just don't quite have the pace here. On to lap 5 of the Grand Prix, and you can see that we're now closing up to the back of Valtteri Bottas, who's currently on the soft tyres, so he's doing the one-stop strategy in this Grand Prix. And as you can see now, in towards Stavolo corner, we're going to go down the inside here of Valtteri, and we're going to make that move stick there on the Finnish driver, and we're up into 11th place now. Going to close up to Sergei Sorokin and move onwards. On to lap 6 of this Grand Prix now, and Lewis Hamilton is on the back of Nico Rosberg. How times have flown by between Hamilton and Rosberg, fighting hard. Let's hope that Rosberg can be competitive next season, because my Audi has been very quick. Rosberg, he's just been slow, and as you can see, down the inside into Lecon, Hamilton on fresh tyres and in the Mercedes car, goes flying through on Nico Rosberg. And meanwhile, Sergei Sorokin and Ocon having a little bit of a scrap here between the pair of them now. Ocon sort of getting out of shape down the exit of Lecon, and this is me coming through, and I'm just going to take all those positions, thank you very much. The smallest of gaps possible. I don't even care if you can give me a gap that I can go for an overtake on. I'll go for it no matter what. And yeah, as long as it's actually a reasonable gap, okay? As long as I can actually make the overtake stick. E.g. that one, I didn't even know if I could make it stick, but we did. Brilliant stuff. Lap 7 of the Grand Prix. We're still making our way through the back markers, and these technically aren't even back markers. These lot that we're making overtakes on now are all doing the one stop in this Grand Prix. There's only a few people that are doing two stops in this race, and it's quite critical that we get past these guys and build this gap, because if they come in for their stop, we might rejoin behind them, and that's going to be horrible for us in this race. So, yeah, we passed off Van Dorn, and now we're looking to our teammate Nico Rosberg, who, if only Rosberg was with us for this entire season, fighting where this Audi car should be, which this Audi car is probably the 4th best car on the grid. I think it pretty much has been that all season long, but I've just been able to extract that much more from the Audi car via, you know, setups, strategy, all that stuff, and also some luck along the way as well, to bring this up to where it is and to bring myself the championship. But yeah, it's been the 4th best car all year long, really. And pretty annoyed that Rosberg hasn't been able to capitalise on that. And you can see there, coming into the pits then for our second stop, we nearly did that same issue whereby we had... where we nearly lost our front wing, but luckily we managed to hold that. As Hamilton, you can see, has built a very nice margin out front, and we're coming in for our second stop, going on to another set of super soft tyres, and in we come. And finally, before we get on into it, you can see in the pit wall there, in the Audi thing, it still says Haas F1 team. Basically, because I'm so busy with so many things in my life, when I did this mod to start with, I did the liveries, the drivers, the helmets, all the names, obviously, and also the pit crew. The one thing I didn't do was inside the garage, because it's barely shown as Lewis Hamilton is out of the Belgian Grand Prix. You have got to be kidding me. Lewis Hamilton, who's been dominating this Belgian Grand Prix, no one has come near him, has retired from this race on the just coming out of the pits. That may have been something wrong with the pits. That's probably mechanical though, and that's horrible for him, as now on lap 14 we've got the net race lead, but we need to fight Robert Kubica, who is currently in a podium position. So Kubica doing a great job for Renault. Has had a horrible time at Renault. We've lost the back end a bit, slight contact there, but fair play. Kubica, he seemed to have realised where I like overtaking, and it's in this sector here. And now Kubica there struggling as I lose the back end ever so slightly on the exit of Stavler there, but Kubica fighting me hard there, so fair play to him in this Grand Prix. He's been doing a great job, and hopefully he can try and get his first points. Skipping all the way now to lap 21 of the Grand Prix, and everything seems to have settled down apart from now. Basically, we've been staying out on these super soft tyres, obviously since we pitted, but Max Verstappen extended his stint. As you can see here, he's now going to try and go for an overtake here. He's actually got a great shout here. We've got the inside line, a little bit of wheel banging there between the two of us now. We just hold off Verstappen there, but Max extended his super soft tyres stint. He's now on a set of ultra soft tyres, and he is absolutely flying on these purple striped tyres, and now he's looking to try and steal the win away from us. Of course, the championship is racked up, but here are the two title rivals that have been contending for this championship all season long, fighting it out, a little bit more wheel banging in towards Blanchimont. Verstappen makes the move stick, and he's up into the race lead, but not for long, because I'm going down the inside in towards the bus shop. I've gotten him really hot here, but I've just about made it stick now. Turning in tight, more wheel banging and contact there. Heavy understeers, I've taken a very sharp apex there. We shove Verstappen wide a little bit, all within the legal rights. We can do exactly that. And on the last lap of the Grand Prix now, after that scare from Verstappen, who in fairness was like 8 seconds back and like took him 3 or 4 laps to do so. But onto the final corner of the Grand Prix, out of pure luck, this race has to be, we've come across the line to win the Belgian Grand Prix and take our, I can't even remember how many victories we've had this season, fourth maybe victory of the season, maybe 5th, I'm not really sure. But yeah, that one was pure luck. As you can see, myself and Verstappen, Ocon grabbing a podium for Force India. That is huge in the Constructors' Championship ahead of Carlos Sainz, Van Dorn, Gasly, Kubica, Vettel, Sorokin and Rosberg. Without further ado then, let's have a look at the drivers and constructors standings for this entire F1 season. Alright then, so having a look at the Drivers' Championship then to finalise this F1 2018, my F1 journey season. So have a look in then. I nearly said my driver, whoops. Anyway, having a look then, as you can see, we are the world champions on 241 points. We've been very, very consistent this season. That's pretty much how I've won this championship. I believe, actually having a look at my own spreadsheet that I've made, I think I've managed to claim a podium in every race bar one. That's consistency, and this Audi has just been brilliant. Setup have been working well, strategy's been working well, and of course, we've had a lot of luck. Go to Lewis Hamilton just then in the Belgian Grand Prix. He was dominating the race. What does he do? Go ahead and DNF, which is an absolute shame. Verstappen ends the championship in second place on 198 points. And again, he would have been much closer if things didn't go his way. He's had a couple of DNFs this season. He had the incident with Ricciardo in Japan. Vettel was holding him up in Japan. He probably would have had it run away and won that race. Who knows where he would have ended up. Carlos Sainz finishes third in the championship. Stunning job from Sainz in the Red Bull car to beat Vettel in the Ferrari. He ends up beating Vettel there by 10 points. Vettel finishing on 130 points. Lewis Hamilton finishing 5th in the championship on 118 points. He is probably going to be really disappointed with that. He had an awful start to the season. It's just not been a good season for Hamilton in general overall, and he'll be looking to bounce back next season. Gasly finishing on 98 points, a long way back from Carlos Sainz, so he's going to have to consider if you're, well, one of the two Red Bull drivers isn't going to be there next season because Alonso has signed his contract, so we'll have to see who he replaced come pre-season. Daniel Ricciardo in the Mercedes on 91 points. Again, bad season for Mercedes in general. Fernando Alonso finishes 8th in the championship on 57 points from McLaren Renault. It's been a solid season for Alonso in his final season for McLaren. Esteban Ocon managing to claim that podium for Force India has shot him up to 9th in the championship. So brilliant final result there from Ocon after a rough season for Force India. Van Dorn finishing in 10th place on 30 points. Good job for him. Hulkenberg 28 points in the Renault, and Rosberg on 21 points in the Audi. Of course, he's been poor this season, and he'll need to step it up when he comes into next season. Pascal Wehrlein finishing the season on 9 points. Decent job from him, but obviously Ocon with that podium did a much better job. Kubica finally, after an awful season, awful half season with Renault after he transferred from Williams, finally he scored points for Renault. He managed to get 6 points in the Belgian Grand Prix to make himself at least score some points. Sorokin managed to score another 2 points for Williams, which is big in the championship for him. And then we've got Hartley, Carey, Stroll, Bottas and Charles Leclerc that all failed to score points throughout this entire season. Finally then, as we move on into the Constructors' Championship to round off this season, and Ferrari are the Constructors' Champions. They were champions even from last episode. Ferrari have been absolutely dominant all season long. Their car has been incredibly fast. They just quite haven't had the luck that they needed to go ahead and win the Drivers' Championship. But overall, Ferrari have always been up there. They've been mighty fast all season long and are deserved Constructors' Champions, and I believe have stayed at the top of the Constructors' Championship from race 1. So that just shows you how dominant the Ferrari has been this season. No one has got close to them. Moving on then, Audi managed to secure a second place in the Constructors' Championship, which is a brilliant result for my team, and obviously really happy to have driven for Audi this season. The car was very, very good, and it was definitely the 4th best car. But again, even though it was the 4th best car, that doesn't mean that you can't extract even more out of the car, and I pushed like hell in this season to really give it everything. It was a tough all season, but I really had fun with it. Red Bull finishes the Constructors' Championship in third on 238 points, beating Mercedes, who obviously had an awful season and will be looking to bounce back in 2019. McLaren and Renault cement themselves in fifth in the Constructors' Championship. Solid season for them. 87 points, that's exactly what they wanted, and hopefully they can use that towards some extra developments come next season. Force India had a very topsy-turvy season, issues within the team with George Russell and Sergio Perez, controversy, Verline stepping in, but overall they did it. They managed to beat Renault in the Constructors' Championship and take 6th place, which is very, very good for them. Really happy for Force India. Renault will be gutted to have lost out to Force India. Williams finishing the championship off with 4 points. Toro Rosso and Sauber leaving this season with no points. But guys, that is going to be it for the F1 journey season 1. There definitely will be a season 2. I don't understand what would go through my mind if I said I wasn't. I don't care how many views the F1 journey gets. I don't care if it's the only series that doesn't get... I don't care if it's the series that gets the least amount of views. At the end of the day, for me, YouTube has been one thing and one thing only, and that is creating content that is fun and enjoyable for myself, and also partly of that is also for my audience. The F1 journey is by far the best thing I've ever done on YouTube. I love it to pieces. It just allows me to be extremely creative. My storylines are just something that are just weird and wacky. Some of them are a lot of them are scripted from 3 months prior to me even starting the F1 journey. So whenever you see a news outlet example, this entire drug test saga, that was pre-done even when I was doing my own career modes. Some of the F1 journey storylines, I'll give you one for an example. Lewis Hamilton in the Brazilian Grand Prix when his engine failed. That was made up on the spot. I saw Lewis Hamilton had an engine failure. Boom, I'm making a storyline. Someone messed up with it. So, I can do whatever I want in that sense. But guys, that is going to be it for this season. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. Next season, we'll be having V10 engines. So we're going back to the loud age of Formula 1. There's still going to be the same old shark fins, same T-wings because you can't change bodyworks in mods. And the Halo is not coming because I hate the bloody thing and it's not going to my series. Yeah, I will see you guys probably in about 3 weeks' time for the pre-season of the F1 Journey Season 2. And I'll see you guys then. Take care all guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.